Hey guys, what's up? IDKiller here, back with another video. This one's going to be a little bit different because ever since I started making servers and creating them and streaming them, I've been getting a lot of requests to show how I do it. So with this is going to be separated into three parts because there's really three main parts to really creating a full server. And you don't need all the parts to create a different type of server. If you just want a local server, well then that's what this video will be covering. And then if you want a server that you can play around with your friends who are at, different houses or people you know closely, that's what the second one will be about. And if you want to actually publicize your server, that's what the third one will be about. So with this first part, we're just going to mainly cover creating a local server. Now, as long as you've got Minecraft, that's what we need so far, and that's it. So first you're going to launch your Minecraft, and then when you launch Minecraft, you're going to pick the version that you want to play. Make sure you've already played this version. 1.15.2 is what I'll be using for this example, since it is the latest official release. Since I have already launched it, we're going to go into installations and then we're going to go into here. And with this, we're going to click new. Now this would be creating a new version that you would want to play. But as you can see right here, there's a little thing that shows a server download for the version that you pick. Make sure you're creating a version, creating a installation with the version that you want to play on, and then download the server. What this is going to take you to Minecraft's website where it will prompt you down here to download the server. With this, you'll just click save or open. In this case, I'm going to click save and then view in the downloads. And then with this, we'll go down into my files and then go into my downloads. And with this, we can see the servers right here. So with this, we can move it on into the desktop and actually see what we're doing here. I recommend you create a folder because when you open this server file, we'll just call it video for now. When you open this server file, what's going to happen is it's going to unload all of the properties with the server. And you don't want that to be all over your desktop. So put it in a folder. That way you can have everything in one area. So with this, you're just going to double click it and it will start to load. And with this, it's going to prompt these folders. Now, you don't really need to worry about anything right now other than this EULA. You should open this text document and it will prompt this. This just shows that you need to put that you are following the EULA to actually launch the server. So you can't start the server until you change this false to true. Then you just click File and Save, and you can close Notepad. Now, with this, you can now properly launch the server. And what it's going to do is it's going to load for a bit, and it will pop up this. This is how you know your server is working. Now, with this specifically, now you know your server's working. But what if you want to change some properties, or you want to go and look at, as you can see, these new files, you've got banned players, banned IPs, whitelists, user cache, all that. Well, let's just stop the server for right now, and we're going to go into this notepad folder that says server. When you go into here, it's going to show you all of these server properties. You can see anything you can change. You can change the spawn protection. You can change the tick time. You can go down into player idle timeout, the difficulty, anything. And you'll see down here some of these things with the ports and the IP. Don't change those. I'll address those in a later video, but for things like message of the day down here at the very bottom, you can change that to say whatever you want it to say. So this is where all your preferences are going to be for your server, other than just changing them in game. These have some preferences that you want to change here. Let's say you don't want PvP, or you want hardcore on or off, and you'll have to enable command blocks if you want that. Overall, this is where all of your preferences for your server will be. Now, with this, now you can see if you wanted to change anything, you'll just change it through here. But right now, I'm just going to leave everything the way it is and just have it the default way for the purpose of the video. So when you get all of your settings figured out, you can go into Minecraft, and then you can go into the installation that you have, your 1.15.2 version, and then play it. And while that's loading, I'm going to go into that file and I'm going to turn on the server. When I turn on the server, it will prompt up that window. And the great thing about this window is it acts as your console. With this, you can type in here anything, like you can type if you wanted to change somebody's game mode. You would just do game mode, the player, and then creative. Now Minecraft's taking up my whole screen, so we have to wait for it to load. But back into the console, you can see if you wanted to change the game mode of a player, you just do game mode, that player, and then whatever game mode you wanted them. Or so with that, you can put all your commands that you would put normally in a server or whatever. Normally, if you're playing the game, any sort of single player world, you could put those commands in here as well. And for instance, you can also opt players. So I'll show you when I get in. But for this, you're going to go into multiplayer. And since this server isn't running off of your Wi-Fi or anything, it does show up on here that I've got it on different places, but you're going to add a server. Again, we're just going to call it video for the purpose of the video. And then we're going to just, in the server address, you're just going to put local host. And you click done, and you'll see it should load a Minecraft server. And now you should load into it. It'll take a bit. And then as you can see, I'm in the world. So if you go back into your console, you can see right here that I had joined the game. With this, you can also op yourself. So if I op Ida Killer, that means now in the game I have permissions to make commands, do anything. I can change my game mode. I can do whatever I wanted to in the server that I would with like any sort of cheats or commands. So that is how you give yourself server operator. This is how you run the server locally. The only way people can join this server the way it is right now is if they are on the same Wi-Fi as you and they just put localhost in, or they put your IP address in. And if you don't know what your IP address is, you can just go into Google and look up what's my IP and it will tell you. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to give my IP address away, obviously. But if that's another way you could just get in, is just put your IP address in. And when you're done, you can just disconnect. And if you want to stop the server, you just type stop. And that's it. That's how you set up a local server on your Minecraft. If you want to play with your friends while they're over, get a group together, you just want to have a server just locally running, that's how you do it. Keep in mind this stuff does run off of your internet, so your server is going to be just as good as your internet is. So if you don't have a good internet, I don't recommend trying to run a server because it's just going to be laggy. In the end, if your internet's really bad and you do want to run a server, you just don't know how you want to. There's some websites with free server hosting that may be better than your internet, like Aternos. What they do is basically the same thing, and you can do preferences with that. The problem I have with those online services is since they're free, they are a lot slower than if you do have a good internet. It doesn't even have to be great. It can just be a mediocre internet, and you should be able to run your server just fine. So with that, it's just we can see now that we can run a server properly, but it only is locally. So now we'll move on into the second part in my next video where we'll talk about how we can get the server up and online.